Yo. Comentando. ¿Qué dicen? Sí. ¿Qué cuentan? Ya. Escúchame. Ya. Los medios cuentan que si hay libertad de prensa, la mordaz es cosa escasa y todos dicen lo que piensan. Y esa sutil es impresa y repetida diariamente tiene contenta tu mente con yo soy combate y fiesta. Presta el control, Tarantino no es tan gore como los crímenes de amor que a toda hora se nos muestran. Pues tal vez la estrategia impuesta, pánico en el público y manejarás encuesta pal. Político en vez de patrullas se vende camilla para un hospital, como si esa mierda de tombo no diera seguridad. No será casualidad que el otro dueño del canal sea el cerro sobrino pero bueno de un primo hermano pariente papá. Que esa nostalgia no es noticia, su codicia se evidencia. Propicia violencia y plástico, panémicas belleza. Fútbol, patriotismo falso, culos, vasos de cerveza. Pele cáncer pa' tu mesa y el domingo en misa pesa. Sobre su cabeza pesa el atraso mental del pueblo. Oposición vendió trasero, dictador, grupo Romero. Pero se confundieron acá, la palabra es cruda. A tu educación en camino se afloja la lucha a través de cultura. Es como genera de uno, tal vez otro loco se suma. Ya saben, cortina de humo que explota la mina que mata la cuna. Primo, vengo que trate la friuna, no una pura canción que aventura. Si no censura, emite basura, no le conviene que sepa verdura. Hay extorsiones, violaciones, robo, llanto y más. Con tanto muerto el morbo están alimentando, ves no hay paz. Solo un odio contenido en minis para que vivan en la fantasía, algún día cambiará. Hay extorsiones, robo, violaciones, llanto y más. Con tanto muerto el morbo están alimentando, ves no hay paz. Solo un odio contenido en minis para que vivan en la fantasía, algún día cambiará.
Sensacionalismo, amigo eterno de la prensa, el mismo que forjó al humano sumiso, callado y muestra. En el noticiero, en el artículo del diario, la vida de una PD que poco invierte
al vecindario.
Sirven como fieles feligreses, a oscuro interés, mienten todo el día, crean solo estupideces. La historia afirma, indica que siempre negaron información alternativa que todo pueblo merece. A cada instante pareciera su labor asesinar una memoria colectiva que hace una nación, con una prensa cómplice que juega con humor, desconociendo ese dolor que nos dejó ese dictador. Cortina de humo es su mejor función, para apartarte de la fuente harán de todo, pues miró hoy como venderte el culo de Sharon Stone, cagándose en tu derecho a la objetiva información. El narco, el almirante, el presidente, el congresista, algún ministro, algún delegado, de seguro es el patrón de ese periódico morboso y amarillo que al leerlo 2 minutos te vuelve en un show. Los medios son culpables, responsables de toda propaganda basura que te ofrece la TV. Pues será mejor que se autoeduque, pues my friend, porque el comercio de los medios te carcome hasta las 100.
Hay violaciones, extorsiones, robo, llanto y más. Con tanto muerto el morbo están alimentando, ves no hay paz. Solo un odio contenido en minis para que vivan en la fantasía, algún día cambiará. Hay extorsiones, violaciones, robo, llanto y más. Con tanto muerto el morbo están alimentando, ves no hay paz. Solo un odio contenido en minis para que vivan en la fantasía, algún día cambiará. Que algún día cambiará. Que algún día cambiará.
CPF.
Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins.
Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles did not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material and use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law.
día enfrentarán a un ejército que se asume como invencible. Y es así porque no se había topado con mexicanos dignos. Mexicanos guerreros, como nuestros ancestros, como los que estamos reunidos hoy aquí.
Recordando nuestra historia y las glorias del pasado. Recuerda, oh patria mía, en cada hijo hay un soldado. Los ejércitos aztecas preparados a la vez, enfrentándose a muerte con las tropas de Cortés. Españoles invasores sufrieron en vestiduras de los guerreros mexicas, trozando sus armaduras. En 1810 inicia la independencia, con Hidalgo dando el grito a la carga y sin clemencia. Miles de hombres y mujeres con espíritu valiente murieron por un gran sueño, una nación independiente. 1821, tanta sangre no fue en vano, de la ceniza resurge el imperio mexicano. En San Juan de Ulúa intentaron reconquistarnos, nación libre, soberana, al invasor le confirmamos. En el norte los apaches atacaban sin cesar, atrapen a los traidores, los vamos a fusilar. Los gringos robaron Texas, alimañas insensatas, en el Álamo pagaron con masacre los piratas. Los yanquis expansionistas quieren más, eso es notorio, vienen marchando del norte, quieren nuestro territorio. Tomaron Chapultepec con descaro y con desquicio, lucharon hasta la muerte el batallón de San Patricio. Arizona, Nuevo México y la Alta California, esa herida no se cierra, simplemente se transforma. No pasaron muchos años desde la última ocasión, desde Europa se orquesta ya la próxima invasión. El 5 de mayo empezaron las agresiones, los valientes Acapuaxlas pelearon sin municiones. Enfrentan al enemigo con rifles y con machetes, disparen con los cañones, denle muerte a los franceses. En el campo de batalla el enemigo se destroza, la victoria es mexicana, grita Ignacio Zaragoza.
Este 5 de mayo, los franceses van a respetar el águila mexicana y van a mirar esta bandera hacia arriba y hundidos en su sangre. ¡Viva México! ¡Pero viva México libre!
Porfirio Díaz trajo paz, eso decían las noticias. Derroquen al dictador, estamos hartos de injusticia. Tomen todos sus fusiles, prepárense para la acción. Se escuchan por todas partes, ¡viva la revolución! En esta lucha eterna, no se pierde, no se empata. Lema, tierra, libertad, viva mi general Zapata. Que al traidor se le capture en la pared, se le acribilla. Una leyenda mexicana, el general Francisco Villa. 1926, preparen armas en los cerros. ¡Viva Cristo Rey! Gritaban fuerte los cristeros. En la Biblia viene escrito, aunque algunos les aterra, hay tiempos para la paz, pero también para la guerra. Contra los japoneses batalló como ninguno, son letales desde el cielo el escuadrón 201. Mexicanos muy valientes, patriotas de este país, hoy su sangre está regada por los campos de maíz. Ya lo dijo Napoleón en un escrito iracundo, 5 hombres como Morelos podría conquistar el mundo. Esta letra habla de historia, mi intención no es revivirla, mi intención crear conciencia para ya no repetirla. No se ocupa ser soldado ni militar en acción para luchar por tu tierra, para luchar por tu nación. No necesito armas, mucho menos de las balas. Mi armamento es mi talento y las balas mis palabras. Hoy los tiempos han cambiado, siguen los mismos errores. Guerra, guerra, sin cuartel para todos los traidores. La violencia y la injusticia hoy azota la nación. Se combaten estos males con unión y educación. Recordemos a los héroes y honremos su memoria. Mexicanos de estos tiempos, volvamos a hacer historia.
Fui forzado a sacrificar muchas vidas en búsqueda de la justicia. Pero al final he salvado la vida de mi amado México.
Purchase your tracks today.
Hello, hello. Hey, shalom, shalom. Yo. I appreciate all praises to whoever's watching, man. Appreciate you, brothers and sisters. You haven't said shalom, so I'm assuming you are a foe. Okay, that's how I'm gonna take you. But anyways, today's a different. It's a different platform, I guess you could say. Tomorrow is the class that I'm gonna be focusing on. Just for a second here. Tomorrow's the class that I'm gonna be focusing on. So I want you guys to just be mindful. Okay, it's a different platform today. I'm gonna bring up a lot of videos, just short things that I'm noticing. But I'm gonna show you an important book today, fam. And I know that some of my brothers and sisters don't know about this book, but remember, how can I say this, man? A sister brought this scripture up to me the other today, as a matter of fact. Let me read it, and then I'll move on. I'll just read it, and then move on. And she gave it to me by accident at first, man. It was kind of trippy. Hold on a second here. Where is it at? There you go. Deuteronomy. Okay, so she was trying to give me a Deuteronomy 23, but this is the Most High. So instead, she said she texts Deuteronomy 32:12. Okay, look what it says. Let's read Deuteronomy 32:12. So the Lord alone did lead him, and there was no strange god with him. Okay, so I find that very interesting, family, because I'm not trying to fit in a religion, nor am I trying to mislead you into anything. I want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And I'll tell you one thing. I'm about my people. I'm about my people. First and foremost. And if I need to find out who my enemy is, guess what? I'm the type of man that I'll study you. And you have no clue what you just meant. And this is for the enemy. So let's begin. We got this thing called here, in case you guys never heard of, it's called Black Root Science. You guys are probably wondering, like, Black Root Science? What is Black Root Science? And I hope YouTube doesn't block me, because this isn't my material. And nor do I claim to use it. But I want to get to the point, because I'm going to show you a lot of video today. Short ones. Let's get to the topic here. So Black Roots, I'll leave this link for you guys to read. It's a pretty lengthy link about questions and answers regarding a particular person. But within this particular BS, you're going to find this very interesting. So this is where the wabos, for you brothers and sisters that are not wasting your time, but using some of your arsenal towards these guys, they're nothing, family. I'm going to tell you something. They're just crumbs. That's why they stay away from YouTube channels, okay? Because they can't be black for the BS on TikTok. Anyhow, let's begin. So in this particular section here, it actually explains something about the natives. So they asked this man this particular question, and he says, here's the answer to the rest of your questions. Let me describe in a roundabout way what I mean by black people. Besides black, there are 4 light-skinned races on the earth, okay? The Mediterranean race. All right, let me magnify this real quick. The Mediterranean, Southern European people. This includes all Hispanics. Because Hispanics aren't considered Spaniards. I'm going to tell you that right now. So I don't know what they meant. Portuguese. It's pretty stupid of y'all. That's how ignorant it is from the get-go. But anyways, I'm not going to be opinion today. This includes all Hispanics, Portuguese, Latins, okay, and Greek origin people, as well as their kind in the Americas, as well as their kind. We're animals. Watch. Middle Eastern, including Arabs, Jews, Persians, light-skinned Indians, and such people. The yellow race, the white race, or Caucasians. Those are all aboriginal non-blacks. What we call the red race or Native Americans is a mix of a yellow race called Mongolians with black people, huh? Okay. It may surprise you to learn that black people were the original inhabitants of America. The yellow races crossed the Bering Strait thousands of years ago, and it mixed with the original black inhabitants and produced a so-called red race. The description of all the non-black should, I think, make clear of what I mean by black people. Okay, let's continue. Second chapter, where it says about black people. Now, the mixed race blacks in ancient Egypt sided with whites because they thought the bright future lay in terms of power and influence. They were not negatively impressed by the corruption and deceitfulness of these people, even when it was clear to their unmixed brethren and fellow citizens. The same phenomenon was prevalent in the apartheid in South America just a decade or two ago, and the mixed race blacks colored, which means colored red, I get, did not mean anything to do with native blacks. Even the darkest of them deny their blackness. The reason for this is just simple. Their economic future and their short-sighted view led in the direction of whites were going, and that's who they followed. I'm sure you can think of a similar situation in America. Okay. 52, their social interaction with our people resulted in today called Native Americans, most of which you well know were recently wiped out by white Americans. In those ancient days, these Mongols drove black people out of Americas. Their way of living was so base and foul that they had assumed power. Most black people abandoned those lands and crossed the Atlantic into Africa. This were joined their brothers and sisters in what was then the Ethiopian Empire. A few remained behind, and the descendants are still to be found today in the Central and South America. At the peak of the Mongols' corrupt rules, before the mass migration into Africa, the oppression reached its climax. A third savior was born at the time among the black people. He taught his generation about their origin and about the origins of light races. He forecast for them that at the end of era of the light race, Mayans later transcribed the forecast into a tablet of stone called the Maya calendar. Many black people migrated into Africa soon after passing. Okay, you guys can continue to do that. Verse 104. The first Mahi was a black man named Rama. Long after he passed, the Hindus began to worship as an incarnation of Vishnu. Their god Rama is based in this legend. The second Mahi was a Zarathustra, also recorded in Zoro and Zoroaster and ancient Persian legends. Zarathustra is the best approximate on how to pronounce his name. After he passed, long after he passed, the Persians started a religion based on legends called Zoroastrianism, which is true. That religion is corrupted interpretation of its teachings, and has happened with each and every Messiah. All the great religions of the world are corruptions of the teachings with one of the first six saviors. You're going to find out what that is. These are Hinduism, Buddhism, Zoroastrianism, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and Native American worship. Now watch this. Here, check this out. This gets interesting. The third savior was a black man by the name of Quetzal. This is not Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl was a white man who came some millennial later. He was revered as Native Americans of his time, who were white then, or rather Mongolian. But the legend of Quetzal was still so strong in their culture that they named his white ruler after original Quetzal. Their Quetzalcoatl means pale skin. Quetzal means white. Quetzal, or however you want to say it, that's an indication that they knew by legend, even though they forgotten consciously the original Quetzalcoatl was a black man. Okay? So now you see this and you wonder, what the hell is this? Okay, well, let's go back. This is called Black Root Science, family. Now it's becoming again. It was one. Remember the scriptures. What was written aforetime was written for our learning, that through the scriptures we might have hope. Why? Because we know that as Ecclesiastes talks about, what was then, it is today. There's nothing new under the sun. So these black roots, I'm reading this because I'm going to show you something, because this relates to tomorrow's class. But again, this is mostly videos. These mean something, okay? So I'm going to show you something real quick. Let me go back to the last one. You see where it says Quetzalcoatl, right? So now check this out. If it were for no inventions of the time, the teachings of Fard and Elijah would also be corrupted in due course, as white people would not pass up such an opportunity. They have done it in six previous times. So what Elijah are we talking about here? Elijah what? Elijah Muhammad. It's nothing but classic trigonology, a fitting name used by Elijah Muhammad to describe this type of deception. The fact is that white people did not exist 6,000 years ago, but liars and deceived many. Let's go to the first one. Is there knowledge available to the form outside of the post? Now, in what am I presented? I've tried to present what I've been taught in such a way that I may appeal to the largest possible audience of black people. Some of his knowledge can be found in the teachings of Elijah Muhammad. Now, I'm going to show you something. I find it so funny because look what we have here. This is Elijah Muhammad, right? Right? Looks Asian. Looks Asian, right? Well, look at this guy. Add mixture, you're Asian. Negro extraction, Julianowska's Calloway's forefather. But now check this out. Now we got the demon. See, I knew I would find you. Italian extraction. This is his forefather. Curimeo forefathers. You guys are not getting away from me. All right? That's just one thing. But why am I bringing up Muhammad? Why does this matter to us now? Because remember, this is black root science. Now you guys wonder why this all wobbleism came about? Well, let me show you. Let me show you something. Watch this. This is from, I'm not going to name the book just yet, because, wobbles are watching too. But as you can see, we magnify, you talk about the characteristics of Muhammad, right? Okay, let's get closer to this so you can see what I'm talking about. Tomorrow, I'm going to get into this book. It says, there are more than 100 praiseworthy holy names for God or good, which people in Islam are known by. He says, but white people frequently take the name of the beast, such as bear, blah, blah. I don't care about that. By giving the names of black men, blah, blah. The characteristics of Muhammad teaching is that he never, as Garvey and others did before him, preached back to Africa. Doctrines of the salvation of the American so-called Negro. Muhammad says America is not the white man's home, but belongs to Europe, and by force took America from our Asiatic brothers and the Indians. He goes, we have as much right to this soil as the white man. Why would we claim the land of our black brothers in Africa, for which he has given his life and labor? It belongs to him. Our destiny, he points out, is right here in America.
Bruh.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
Hey, shalom, brothers. All right, I'm watching. I'm doing a different thing today. I'm not going to really bring out a lot of stuff. From this point on, I'm going to bring videos. I'm setting this up for tomorrow, fam. So, I'm saying I'm glad to have you guys here. But you guys got to follow these things and keep track of these links that I'm going to show you. All of this matters, family. All of this matters. So now, let's begin. This is what I got for y'all. Okay? At this point, I'm just going to be quiet now. If I say something, it's because, I got something to say, but more likely I won't. All right, fam? So we'll be here for about maybe an hour, and then we'll be moving on. All right. Let's sit back. I'll be here still.
¿Cómo ve usted eso de que las iglesias le quiten el dinero a la gente por medio de la ofrenda y el diezmo?
La ley de Dios dice que a los sacerdotes que ministran la ley de Dios, o sea, la tribu de Leví, porque somos 12 tribus, a la tribu de Leví no se le dio herencia, no se le dio tierra, para que vivan del diezmo y del 10%, porque ellos ministrarían las cosas del templo, pero del templo de Salomón, del templo de Dios, las cosas santas. Entonces ellos tendrían que vivir de lo que les daban sus hermanos, les dieron los ejidos, les dieron fincas para que ellos cultivaran su tierra también, ejidos alrededor de los tiempos. Pero los que viven ahora de diezmos y ofrendas se lo inventaron ellos porque ninguno están cumpliendo, todos son traidores. El Señor dice de los pastores que hoy en día anuncian su palabra, que pronto vomitarán todo lo que se han comido porque ellos escogieron sus propios salarios descarriando al pueblo de Dios por camino no bueno. Se han enseñoreado del pueblo de Dios. Por eso hay persecución y muerte sobre la iglesia evangélica porque se convirtieron en la más peligrosa de la tierra. Hablan de lo que no saben y repiten de lo que oyen. Redes de prostitución y de influencia. Venden apostolados. $5,000, $6,000. Te hacen apóstol, te hacen profeta, te venden un cartón. Esto es una red de sinvergüenzura. Por eso ya los empezaron a volar. Así es que los que quieren creer en la ley de Dios, que los han engañado con el evangelio, con el cristianismo falso que se opone a la ley de Dios, que es perpetua, que es nuestro poder, sabiduría e inteligencia delante de los demás pueblos de la tierra, los violadores de la ley de Dios morirán. El orden divino está siendo restaurado.
I want to tell you about the Sioux uprising, but I don't know where to begin.
At the center of all the treaties the Lakota have signed with the United States government is the Black Hills.
X marks an agreement.
Most tribes have treaties with the federal government, and they're all under the War Department.
And another X marks this land as ours.
This is our Mecca, the most sacred place in the world.
That's why the Black Hills are not for sale, because we're not for sale.
When they illegally took the land from our people, it wasn't just the land itself that was taken. It was part of a process to colonize us. If you can make the people suffer by destroying their economic system and their languages and their culture, then you can try to conquer a people.
As an indigenous person, as someone who comes from this land, I'm just trying to exist.
Our work here is not just about reclaiming land, but reclaiming power.
We are Lakota, Dakota, and Nakota.
We're the last of the fighters. We held on for so long and we continue to hold on. We're not going anywhere.
We are fighting for the integrity of our people.
We are building the world that we want to live in.
All this land is indigenous land.
There's many similarities between Quetzalcoatl and Jesus Christ. Honestly, I don't even know if I'm saying that right. I'm gonna just call him Q. His story definitely relates to Christ, as he was crucified on the cross and he was born of a virgin. These things really do add up, and to me it seems like Christ manifests himself amongst the Aztecs, and Christ did say he will come to the lost tribes of Israel, and those are possibly the lost tribes of Israel. I'll have more videos coming up on that to prove that. And until next time, guys, take care.
Brother and sister, I love you. I love you so much. I love you, Mexique. I love you so much. I love you. I love you so much. I love you, Mexique. I love you. Thank you. I love you, Mexique. Bye.
Right, that's why I hate California. Number 2 Mexican population. So you want to talk about the Hispanic population in California? Let's do it. Latinos are actually the majority in California and make up 39% of the population. But Barry, why should I care? I'm glad you asked. Latino men are more likely than anybody else to participate in the labor force and make up over 77% of it. And Latinas are second at 59%. I can say growing up here, I love all Hispanics and I've had amazing experiences with them. And here's a bunch of other reasons to like them. Half of all fruits and vegetables are grown in California. 99% of almonds come from California. 46% of fruit and nuts, and 62% of the national value of fruit and nut crops in our country. Why is that important, Barry? Because Hispanics make up 96% of everybody doing that work. So the next time you eat any fruits, nuts, vegetables, anything that has anything to do with agriculture, I want you to think about those Hispanics that you're speaking bad on. You know, stuff like this right here. So you can feel however you want about Hispanics. I know how I feel, but the facts and the numbers do not lie. And without Hispanics in the state of California or in this country, every single thing that we have, owned, love, enjoy, eat, buy would come to a screeching halt. So thank a Hispanic today.
What's a historical fact that you had to learn on your own and not in school?
What's a historical fact that I learned on my own, not in school? Well, I got my honorable
Se cree mexicano el
discharge from the Marine
guatemalteco.
Corps in January of 1995. Around that same time, well, I got my honorable discharge from the Marine Corps in January of 1995. Around that same time, I discovered that over 1.9 million American citizens of native, indigenous, Mexican ancestry were rounded up during the Great Depression of the United States, 1929 to 1939, and put on boxcar trains in downtown LA at Olvera Street at the Union train station and relocated south of the border. I discovered that when that happened, that also happened to my family in 1933. They rounded up my grandma that was 7 months pregnant, all of my uncles, my father's brothers, that were only children, 2, 4, 6, and 8 years old. And when I share this story, I often hear people say things like, well, the Japanese were rounded up too, as if that made it any better.
Se cree mexicano el guatemalteco. Carnal, 100% mexicano, directamente del estado de Guerrero para toda la raza. Soy de la Costa Chica, un pueblo que se llama Coajinicuilapa. Si no lo conoces, ve. Para que conozcas mi pueblo y toda la raza de allá. Carnal, yo estoy orgulloso de ser mexicano, carnal. Tal vez por mi piel dicen que no soy mexicano. A mí no me importa con que yo sepa allá, carnal. Si me entiendes, y me siento orgulloso de representar a mi tierra en cada canción que saco. Para que sepan que somos la mera vena. Representar mi patria, el color de mi bandera, verde, blanco y rojo. Pero si yo fuera de Guatemala, también me sentiría orgulloso, carnal. Y respeto para toda la gente de Guatemala, mucho amor, mucho cariño. Gente de Guatemala son trabajadoras, bien humildes y bien respetuosas. Pero este tipo de personas son las que valen verga. Así de simple. Este tipo de personas son los que valen pa' pura verga, la neta. Y ahí discúlpenme por la grosería. Pero es que así somos los mexicanos, qué tranza. Bueno, no todo va, pero pues... Ella, donde soy yo, dicen careverga. Así mero, pero no te quiero decir así, carnal, porque tú no entiendes. Tú eres un vato, pues, que no tiene mente, no tiene cerebro, carnal. Pero yo te mando un abrazo, carnalito. Muchas bendiciones, mucho respeto para ti. Y bendiciones para tu familia, que yo creo que se han de sentir mal contigo. Es lo que pienso yo, no sé. Porque si yo tuviera un familiar, un amigo, que comentara este tipo de cosas, carnal, lo agarra cachetadas y le digo, hey, compa, esa mamada no se hace. Y respeto para toda la gente de Honduras, la mera pija. El Salvador, la mera verga, como dicen ellos. Para la gente de Puerto Rico, República Dominicana, Nicaragua, de todos lados, todos somos iguales. El que me conoce sabe que yo soy bien respetuoso. Aquí hay amor, aquí hay paz, aquí no es para andar peleando ni nada, pero este tipo de personas vienen a cagar el palo, wiri wiri, guaraguar, y no saben ni qué trance con la balanza, digo doña Panza, y qué rollo con el pollo, dijo el mollo. ¿Sí me entienden? Entonces, bueno, mi raza, yo nada más le vine a contestar a este compa aquí, y pues soy simple 100% mexicano, nacido y criado en el estado de Guerrero. Mi papá es el Prieto, pues de ahí salí yo. Mi mamá no está tan morena, pero pues no está tan así como yo, pues, si me entienden. De parte de mi jefe, que es mexicano, es de mi color. Mi mamá no es tan morena, pero pues aquí andamos rifando y me siento orgulloso de ser prieto y mexicano, carnal, para que vean qué trance con la raza. En México hay de todos los colores y de todos los sabores. Como dicen por ahí, un mexicano nace donde se le dé su chingada gana, compa. Ahí estamos, mucho amor, raza. Respeto para todos y pues aquí andamos. Escuchen mi música en todas las plataformas, El Moreno Mexicano, que en mi canal de YouTube, El Moreno Mexicano. Suscríbanse y apóyenme macizo, mi raza. Ahí estamos, cuídense mucho.
The Spanish kept immaculate records, huh?
This is part 1 on that record keeping. In part 2, I'll be going over the many reclassification systems. In the meantime, watch this video.
A Spanish priest, Friar Bernardino de Sahagún, takes a unique approach. He believes the way to destroy Aztec belief is to first understand it. He recruits native artists to write and illustrate an encyclopedia of Aztec culture. His intention is to help priests convert natives, but the natives have a different agenda. Today, the manuscript is a world away in Italy. It's called the Florentine Codex.
It's 4,000 pages, perfectly handwritten. 2,000 and more images, dearly painted. And it has kept its secrets secret until very recently.
For art historian Diana Magaloni, the 12 volumes of the Codex offer a unique first-hand account of Aztec history and culture.
It is a voice that is never heard. It is not our interpretation of the indigenous people. It is their voices, their thoughts on history, and their point of view.
The native authors chronicle the Spanish invasion. In 1519, Spanish soldiers bring 11 ships, 500 men and 13 horses to Mexico. They plant the cross and embark on a campaign of conquest for God and country. The native authors write in Spanish on the left. On the right, they use their own language, Nahuatl. When Diana compares the two accounts, she discovers the Nahuatl tells a very different story. The native Nahuatl records in gory detail a massacre of unarmed Aztecs by Spanish soldiers.
Castiltecame calahque panteo ithualco, huan quinyahualohque mistotiani. Quinminque masewalme ica tepostopili, huan quinhuitehque ica espadas. Tlaalawa tlalchi pampa eso, estli ameshki ken akl.
The authors present a sanitized version of the story in Spanish, but in their native language they secretly chronicle the bloody details.
There's subversion in the Florentine Codex, a very intellectual and potent subversion against colonialism.
The Aztec artists use their own language to preserve their history and subvert the mission of the Church and Europeans by chronicling the savagery of the conquerors. But the Aztec artists create their paint, like blue, from living things: orchid stems, parasitic insects, and extracts of Brazil wood.
What they are doing in their paintings is actually using paints that have power. They were actually creating images that had an energy in themselves.
There are over 1,000 images in brilliant color in the Codex, but in the final volume there are only 3. The death of Moctezuma is one of them. The reason why is found in their account of the fall of the Aztec capital in 1521.
Tlaolinki kokolistli, huan choyauki pan masewalme. Kinixtlapacho nanáhuatl pan ininchayak, inintzontekon, ininchichihual. Yeka miaki mihke. Ayok huelke nehnemise, san motekatinemiaya pan tlapechtli.
European invaders bring a weapon more lethal than guns and horses. They bring disease. Smallpox, influenza, bubonic plague, malaria, and many more to which Native Americans had never been exposed. Disease spreads quickly, and within 200 years, 90% of America's indigenous people die. The population plummets from 100 million to less than 10 million. It is among the largest population losses in history, as high as World War I and II combined. And as the Codex writers document how their ancestors succumbed to disease in 1521, they are struck by another deadly pestilence.
While they were doing these books, in 1576, there is this pestilence. They don't know what it is, but it's only killing indigenous people. And so death starts to take away all the people you know. You are painting the book, and perhaps your mother, your teacher, your best friend were dying outside.
The stark, black and white images are more than just an artistic choice. The artist, sick and dying, had no way to acquire the materials to make paint.
What they decided to do is to continue painting, use very little paint in specific images, while the world around them was actually disappearing, like in fact disappearing. Many, many, many died.
The Codex authors fight to preserve their culture in words and colors.
In the past, their ancestors had created cities, temples, statues. They couldn't do that anymore. What they had at hand was they were the keepers of knowledge. And if they would portray that through paintings, that knowledge will be kept.
All right, Chairman, I'm going to read you something since we're on that topic. I want to show you this real quick. This is from a book I have, since we're talking about the actual plagues, right? Let's connect the dots here, family. Let's stop believing BS. Let's not know exactly who brought the plagues, because we were told something. That's not the case. With man of Narvaez had come a black man. By the way, Narvaez is also a European black man, okay? Had come a black man suffering from smallpox. Remember what the video said. He affected the household in Sempoala where he was quartered. So he wasn't going to die. That's what they're used to from over there, right? And it spread from one Indian to another. And they, being so numerous and eating and sleeping, I'm assuming the next one's together. Yeah, eating and sleeping together, quickly infected the whole country. The Mexicans had never seen smallpox before and did not have even the European meager knowledge of how to deal with it. The old chronicler, Bernal Diaz del Castillo, called the Negro a very black dose for Mexico, for it was because of him here that the whole country was stricken with the great many death.
Bruh. Wait a minute. Who are you?
I'll show you who they are. Now, keep in mind about the whole Black Root BS. Well, I don't call it BS because they believe it. But I'm glad that we're aware of it. Let me remind you who these people are, okay? This is from the Maya Conquistadors book. I'll just get the highlighted part. Because it is truly, Mayas are writing this themselves. Because it is truly necessary that they come into our district, for it happened that since the arrival of the bishop whom you sent, named Fray Francisco Toral, brought and distributed black padres. They are falsely named clergymen. Letters from the Peck and other Batoda and Maya officials from 1567. Okay, let's continue. Remember, what was written aforetime was written for our learning. Now we know that, as Ecclesiastes says, let me just read it, man. I don't want to chop it up. Sorry, fam. Just want to read it. I'll go to the simple one. Ecclesiastes 1:9. The things that had been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there's nothing new under the sun. Okay, let's read. They do not love us, nor are we in their hearts. Furthermore, we are not accustomed to being among them. We have spoken to them only a few times to see this or say that. Neither do they know our language here, nor do we know their Castilian language. So these people spoke Castilian Castellano, okay? Remember that. 13. Remember that. We're going to see something too. Nor do they really devote themselves to us, although we need them. Why? Because of the Bible. Thus, we engage them in vain. It's kind of like, well, we try to deal with them because we don't really like them. So now we're acquiring an understanding for the ways of the black padres. The ways of they're asking them, like, yeah, listen, these guys are different. They're weird. They think they believe in God. I don't understand because they don't show any of it. All right, page 162. Would you go by here? But these oppressive clergymen get really angry at us while forcing us to work in their homes, doing whatever they tell us to do. For those black men have their own homes and servants in their own horses and rabbits. Let's see if I read that. Yeah, here it goes. For they are ashamed of us and are afraid of us too, although they are the guardians and are given the responsibility and are asked to go to each cob. And as they are not paid by the bishop, the burden of it is given to us, but there's no salary. So now we give them much food, and they do not pay us. We pay them well and fully to be guardians. Meanwhile, man, you reimburse us because these guys suck. Nothing new under the sun, family. This is the very reason why there is discord with the bishop that is here in this providence, and discord with all black padres. Let's continue. This will be the last one. It should not be the black cruz padres. They really take money. They really ask for a great deal of money. They drive us mad over money. Therefore, these words we say to you are not lies, for this is really the truth. We now will prove it. For there were many black padres, 21. Do we not see the majority of these so-called famous preachers? T.D. Jakes, Creflo Dollar, all these famous people. Do we not see them? Have we not experienced these guys? Has this not? Do we not see the ways of them doing things, the way they do things like this?
If your engine is not revving up, you know what you need? You need a Holy Ghost.
Let's continue. Therefore, these words we say to you, they are not lies. Don't they ask for money? Money? Aren't they starving our people of money? Isn't this what all you so-called pastors do? Isn't this what's been done? Tomorrow's class is going to get deep in this. Therefore, these words we say to you, they are not lies, for this is really the truth. We will not prove it. For there are many black padres, 21 of them. It wasn't only white ones, was there? And they came with the Spaniards. Ooh. Let's continue. And not one of them knew our language. Only one of them did. But the padre who entered did not teach. For at the time, there were no elders, really just boys. Why? Because they decimated our elders. That's how they get rid of our actual history. They traded in other kahab. Moreover, they wished to say little. These black padres, those black ones, they hated us. Gotcha, bitch. No, not that one, man. Come on.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
These aren't lies, fam. These are books written from our very own people. The Maya Conquistadors, Matthew Restall. Read it. Read it. Read it. Let me get that for you, bro. Let me get that for you. Hey, Vladimir, Solon, bro. As you know, for some reason, man, you don't show up on this other platform, so I'll try to look back and forth and shit. Just letting you know. Let me see. Oh, okay, let me get Proverbs 6:13. Okay, Proverbs 6:13. And it reads, it says here, he winketh with his eyes, he speaketh with his feet, he teacheth with his fingers. Hey, and he throws his hands. Yeah, that's, hey, man, tomorrow's gonna get heavy, bro. Tomorrow's gonna get heavy. Tomorrow is gonna get heavy, fam. So now we know who brought the bubonic plagues. We know that there was not just smallpox. We know that that was a major detriment to our people. But let's not forget and skip the fact that, you see, so I'll give you an example. When somebody creates an enemy for you to face, for you to look for, like, hey, that's our enemy, that's our enemy, that's our enemy. You know that old saying? Keep my enemies close. Keep my friends close, but my enemies closer. Closer. They're trying to blind you from who their true enemy is.
You know, Native Americans.
So remember, we're getting attacked from different angles. And quite frankly, I don't give a damn what nation you people you are. It doesn't matter to me. But if you come with us with this nonsense, look, as a matter of fact, I'm glad you're doing my job. You're actually doing my job, because it's heavy on just one individual coming in, proving this fact. But you guys are showing, you're helping my brothers and sisters see the spirit that I saw a while back. And the Most High now has always led me to understand where I'm at now, fam. Like I read it before. Let me read it one more time. Not that one, brother. Hold on, my bad. Where you at? Deuteronomy 32. Watch this. It says here, so the Lord, Deuteronomy 32:12. So the Lord alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with him. I know who my people are.
You know, Native Americans always ask us, where's your DNA test? Where's your DNA test? Why don't you do your DNA test?
So today we're going to discuss Native American or indigenous DNA and DNA testing.
Oh, wow. Oh, I'm here for it all. Let's go.
We're actually going to take a lot of the words from Ancestry.com's website.
Blood quantum was created and later used by the United States government to depossess Native American people of their lands and civil liberties. Now again, these are the words from Ancestry.com.
Mm-hmm. Could you say it again for the natives in the back, please? No, back there.
We're actually going to take a lot of the words from Ancestry.com's website.
Whoa, wait a minute, y'all not...
Because the federal government recognizes an individual tribe as a Native American tribal group, it does not mean that other groups are not tribes also. The United States doesn't recognize them based off of the standards that they establish on who would be and who wouldn't be a Native American.
I was going to say, but there are many...
I just want to say, family, when I see this woman, I'm baffled, but at the same time, I can understand. Partis sequitur ventrum. When a bunch of Negroes try to tell you that it happened to them first, and the white man supports it with the documentation, you're going to end up believing it. You're going to end up believing it. Let me get that for you before I continue, bro. Psalm 58. I'm sorry, Psalm 58. Hold on. Psalm 58. It reads right here. 3. The wicked are estranged from the wound. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Yeah, very similar to the Amorites. Very similar to the Amorites. Because it's true. It's not new under the sun, family. It's not new under the sun. There's no such thing as, eventually, the mind goes back to its original form. And it takes about 2 years. Like if you said you get kidnapped, it takes about 2 years for you to completely wash away that whole entire memory that was given to you. So now it's not curses, family. People end up going back to who they were since the beginning. Micah 2:1, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it. I like that. When the morning is light, they practice it in darkness. I'm black hot. You want to be okay? Because it is in their power of their hand. Why? We've gone through this whole Freemasonry stuff. Now we're understanding like where this whole thing is coming from, right? Now we know why they're learning these things. You had black root science, you had Islam, you had the whole historic past of where this whole Black Hebrew Israelism came from, and then you find out who the hell financed it. Tomorrow will be very important to know. Tomorrow will be very important to know. And they covet fields, and they take them by violence in houses, and they take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. In his heritage. Let me see that. Repeat a lie often enough and it becomes truth. That is a line. That's a line the Nazi propagandists use. They repeat the same crap. Yeah, for sure, bro. Let's continue.
Native American indigenous tribes that exist today that are not federally recognized, and that is because they did not want to follow the rules, maybe in particular this blood quantum rule.
Right.
That said that.
By the way, family, you so-called Mexicans are not considered Native Americans. But black people don't understand that. Well, I'm just saying Africans don't understand that. Africans. West Africans, for that matter. Not East Africans. I'm not calling everybody. I'm talking about West Africans. West Africans.
That requires tribes to use this. Now, that may not be the only thing, the only factor that was keeping them from that. But again, it's the United States usurping their authority over the tribes. And so the tribes that are recognized are the ones who have accepted that.
They've assimilated. They've assimilated. And that's just the reality of the situation. The tribes that assimilated are able to have their name continuously be in print. Those who are not assimilated, those tribes their names stop being stated, their names stop being printed, their history stops being shared. And as far as the colonial system is concerned, hopefully those tribes become...
By the way, how is this even proof that you guys... I went and read it. I don't understand how that's proof. Because with using that logic, well, shoot, I can exclude everybody.
Los mexicanos.
Let's continue. I'll shut up now.
Los mexicanos salieron de los indios.
Yo me llamo Andrés Manuel López Obrador. Andrés por parte de los aztecas, Manuel por parte de los mayas.
Remember, you guys, where you guys came from. Foremost than anything, before you go calling yourselves Israelites or anything else, first learn about the people of your land. First learn that, and then, because you're that before anything else. You are that before anything else. So remember, you have warrior spirit, family. You have a warrior spirit. Do not be hesitant like Joshua and Caleb. Don't be scared. Maybe they talk the big talk. Maybe they look the look. But at the end of the day, family, we are true warriors. And you mess with one being, MS, you're going to mess with the whole freaking burrito. Oh, let me get that, bro. Lamentations 5:3. I'm glad I looked at the other page. Lamentations 5:3. And it reads, we are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows. 90% of the people that have been destroyed. Think about it. Our parents. When we read the Maya Conquistadors, what did it say? There was only young men. The elders were gone. They didn't say they were killed. They said they were gone. We have drunken our water for money. Our wood is sold unto us. Our necks are under persecution. We labor. Who? 96%. We feed everybody in this country. Family, damn it. And guess what? We got the power. Now you guys are starting to see that these so-called Africans, West Africans, are going to start trying to promote music to our people. They're going to try to promote music to our people. You're starting to see it because they know we have the buying power and we got the power. We have given our hand to the Egyptians and to the Assyrians and to be satisfied with bread. And we're going to do that again? Nah, we're not going to do that again, fam. Let's go. Hey, Shalom, bro. What did you say? Oh, Revelation 22:14. Let me get that real quick. Revelation 22:14. It reads, blessed are they that do his commandments. Yeah, remember that video earlier? Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have the right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates of the city, bro. That's beautiful, right? Hold on, let me see this. Is this it? Man, that was beautiful, bro. You just reminded me of something. Oh, this one right here. I think it's this one. Yeah, check it out.
¿Cómo ve usted eso de que la
Listen to this. Let's read it again. It says here, blessed are they that do his commandments. Why? That they may have the right to the tree of life and may enter through the gates of the city. Now, keep in mind, family, in this scripture, it talks about wisdom. Have I always said or not that our power is wisdom? Have I not said that our power is wisdom? The Masonic belief in Meshiacha, Anunnaki is not only based on history, the codices and the moxies. It is astronomical too, among all tribal nations and Semanatwak, not only for the Meshicas. All praises, bro. There won't be a dog in the great city. That's right. Listen, family. Remember, the Torah, the commandments. What did they read again? I'm sorry. Let me read that again. Blessed are they that do his commandments. To what? So we can enter into the tree of life, right? And enter into thy gates of the city. Remember, family, I've always said that our power isn't how tall we are, how strong, how big we are, how fast we are, that we can slam dunk. No, I've always said that our wisdom is our power. I'm glad that somebody's finally confirming it. Let's go.
¿Cómo ve usted eso de que las iglesias le quiten el dinero a la gente por medio de la ofrenda y el diezmo?
La ley de Dios dice que a los sacerdotes que ministran la ley de Dios, o sea, la tribu de Leví, porque somos 12 tribus, a la tribu de Leví no se le dio herencia, no se le dio tierra, para que vivan del diezmo y del 10%, porque ellos ministrarían las cosas del templo, pero del templo de Salomón, del templo de Dios, las cosas santas. Entonces ellos tendrían que vivir de lo que les daban sus hermanos, les dieron los ejidos, les dieron fincas para que ellos cultivaran su tierra también, ejidos alrededor de los tiempos. Pero los que viven ahora de diezmos y ofrendas se lo inventaron ellos porque ninguno están cumpliendo, todos son traidores. El Señor dice de los pastores que hoy en día anuncian su palabra, que pronto vomitarán todo lo que se han comido porque ellos escogieron sus propios salarios descarriando al pueblo de Dios por camino no bueno. Se han enseñoreado del pueblo de Dios. Por eso hay persecución y muerte sobre la iglesia evangélica porque se convirtieron en la más peligrosa de la tierra. Hablan de lo que no saben y repiten de lo que oyen. Redes de prostitución y de influencia. Venden apostolados. $5,000, $6,000. Te hacen apóstol, te hacen profeta, te venden un cartón. Esto es una red de sinvergüenzura. Por eso ya los empezaron a volar. Así es que los que quieren creer en la ley de Dios, que los han engañado con el evangelio, con el cristianismo falso que se opone a la ley de Dios, que es perpetua, que es nuestro poder, sabiduría e inteligencia delante de los demás pueblos de la tierra. Los violadores de la ley de Dios morirán. El orden divino está siendo restaurado.
El orden divino está siendo restaurado, family. Means the proper order is coming to its fruition, fam. It's coming to its fruition. Let me read this to you real quick. I think it's this one. I always forget it, man. I don't know why I always forget this one real quick. It says here, 2 Corinthians 11 and 13. For such as false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ, Meshiacha. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into the angel of light. Therefore, it is no great thing that his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness. So first we got the first wave. That didn't work. So now they're going to go through the second attempt. That's not working. Well, it almost was. Whose end shall be according to their works. According to their works. Remember, family. Remember, y'all are warriors before anything.
That people need to understand about when they call me a paisa. To me, I take that with pride. Porque yo soy paisano, yo soy mexicano. Before I was anything, I'm a Mexican. Soy mexicano, soy raza. I was born in Mexico. Soy de Chapala, Jalisco. La sangre azteca corre por mis venas. So when somebody calls me a paisa, I don't take that as an insult. What I take as an insult is making it seem that being a paisa, being a mexicano is a bad thing. You know what I mean? So they made it seem like if it was a bad thing. But it's not. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of being a Mexicano. Yo soy orgullosamente Mexicano. And but when they try to make it seem like it's a bad thing, it reminds me back to when I started gangbanging. You know what I mean? When I was a little youngster, they used to call me a wetback and a scrap because I was from Mexico.
No, you're not considered the term Native American. That term is for federally recognized by the government. Then you go on to tell me that I need to learn the history on federally recognized and that you guys were put on reservations and still know your culture and language. Well, first of all, I do know the history because it's thrown in our face quite often. Let me give you a perspective that I don't think many of you realize that you're pushing. The federal government has created criteria on who can be federally recognized and who can't be, under the disguise of protecting certain tribes. Part of that criteria is that you must prove your lineage and that you must have a tribal community that has a cultural and political historical foundation in these lands by at least 1900 or before. That automatically dismisses all detribalized natives. And we were detribalized by force of the governments, Spain and the US. We didn't make this choice because we wanted to. It was forced. And we also endured paper erasure by the Spaniards and multiple reclassifications by both the Spaniards and the US government, making it difficult for one to trace a tribe. This is purposeful because they want to keep the amount of tribes that are sovereign to as minimal as possible. For example, there are 37 million ethnic Mexicans in the United States alone. Could you imagine if they gave 37 million people sovereignty and rights? That would actually initiate land back for all indigenous people, detribalized and tribalized. But see, none of you guys want to look at the bigger picture here. You have been psychologically brainwashed to think that you are a little bit more superior than those that are detribalized. Makes you feel a little less oppressed because you have a card to verify your identity. And then you dismiss us as if we don't have any culture, when we do. Our indigenous culture was preserved, even through forced assimilation, and it was still passed down generation after generation. And we had no choice in having to speak colonizer languages, which again was forced upon us. And there are many people who hold CIB cards and still can't speak their native language. So let's not go there. All this does is prevent detribalized natives from being sovereign and having rights to our lands. And it dwindles your numbers. See, we are still being oppressed, just like y'all. We are still going through active genocide, just like y'all. As I remind everybody yet again that there are 87,000 children missing at the border. But yet, y'all continue to let the government dictate who is native and who isn't. And then you play into their game by policing who is native and who isn't, based on what the government says. You're doing the work of the colonizers. Just
Security, they're being fired. Get your hands off me! Get your hands up! Get your hands up!
This is the bullshit that we've been putting up with on our land since these colonial people have come. This has to stop.
We weren't going in there with guns and bow and arrows. We were going in there peacefully to hear their apology as well.
The Reverend went online and stated that the unmarked graves were a lie. And people, as soon as I get out of my truck, are attacking me because I'm holding a sign about Indigenous children. And they're telling me they're lies. We're here to tell the truth. It's all over the media that there's over 5,000 unmarked graves now found throughout the land. I know he's on leave. He was put on leave and supposedly saying an apology, but we don't stand for the apology. I wanted to walk in that church and address that priest myself. I wanted him to say to my face that we're lying. I tell you, he wouldn't have the nerve. Now they've given him leave. They're protecting him. And he needs to be held accountable for his hate crime.
Let me share something with you guys. Whenever you or any nation tries to assume or just kind of say, oh, y'all are Mongolians, you didn't go through shit. you're not just attacking an individual, you're attacking his family. You're attacking our family now. You see, now this is different. Because look, I'm a father. You can attack me, you can hurt me, whatnot. But when you F with my family, anybody related to me, my mother, my father, my cousins, my kids, my wife, my friends, my family, when you mess with one of us on a personal level, now you're going to get what you deserve. Now you're going to see what you've been waiting for. Because it's apparent that this is what you want. And you want to know something? Scripture says that this is what you're going to get. Let's go.
Happened to the indigenous people after Mexico's separation from Spain? Well, like any other country that got its independence at that time, almost over half of Mexico's population thought that the separation wasn't worth it due to it being left at a very poor state. That population were the indigenous people and communities. Let me explain. At the time when Mexico got its independence, almost over 70% of Mexico's population were indigenous. Spanish wasn't even near the dominant language of Mexico. Throughout years after the independence from Spain, the indigenous population decreased year by year. Mexico would break treaties that the Spanish made with the natives to take their lands. Mexico would continue these acts against many tribes all the way until the 1920s, causing the indigenous population to decrease from 70% to 21.5% in 100 years of its independence.
Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Remember, this is the calm before the storm. This is calm before the storm. This is a little different that I'm doing this. I just want to show you guys something because I'm about to finish. It says, Psalms 83, for lo, thine enemy make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up thy heads. They have taken crafty counsel against thy hidden ones, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, so that from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Now you would think, well, they're saying, nah, that's not, it's the white man, it's the white man, it's the Asian man, it's the Arab man. It's all of you guys. This is Diodorus Siculus. He wrote about the fact that these Africans knew this land. And see, they've been hiding this shit for a while, fam. That's why I read you that whole concept of what they're trying to teach. They want to get rid of us one way or another, and it will make us believe that we're the same people. And typically with the mindset of an evil, wicked-ass per individual, we'll consider breeding somebody out. What other way? It says here, because they love to show this. They love to show this here. So I'll read this to you. This right here. From here to here. I showed you guys the link before. I'll give it to you again. It's no surprise. The Phoenicians then, while exploring the coast outside the pillars for the same reason we have stated, while sailing along the shores of Libya, were driven by strong winds a great distance onto the ocean, and being storm-tossed for many days, were carried ashore on the islands we mentioned above. And they had observed this felicity, I guess, in nature, and they caused it to be known to all men. Consequently, the Tyrrhenians, at the time, they were masters of the sea, proposed to dispatch a colony to it. But the Carthaginians, you guys know who they are, right? Sons of Ham, prevented it from doing so. Partly out of the concern lest many inhabitants of Carthage should remove there because of the excellence of the island, and partly in order to have it ready in a place in which to seek refuge against an incalculable turn of events or fortune, in case some disaster, some total disaster should overtake Carthage. So let's say, no, don't say nothing. We'll leave it till the very last stand. Sounds like 1492. They knew. Of course they knew. But see, we now know that you knew. This is from the about 3 links up. This is what they don't show us, fam. Very good at it. The Negro, the Jew includes this, but doesn't show this. I find it. I wonder why. But now we have discussed what relates to the island which lie within the pillars of Hercules. We shall give an account of those which are in the ocean. They're talking about America. For there lies out in the deep of Libya an island considerable size, and situated as in the ocean, It is distant from Libya, a voyage of a number of days to the west. This land is fruitful, much of it being mountainous, and not a little being level plain of surpassing beauty. And through it flow navigable rivers, which are used for irrigation. Used? Who's using them? And the island contains many parks, planted with trees of every variety, and gardens in great multitudes, which are traversed by the streams of sweet water. Huh? What? And in other private villas of costly construction, and throughout the gardens, banqueting houses have been constructed on settlings of flowers, like Tenochtitlan. And in them, the inhabitants pass their time during the summer. You guys knew. You guys knew the whole entire time. So again, Psalms 83. Do you see what I see? They have taken a crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Verse 5, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Do you understand that? Edom, Ishmael, Moab, Hagarim, Gabal, Ammon, Amalek, and the Philistines. That's not just one tribe. That's many tribes. That's these guys right here. Judges 3:3, namely the five lords of the Philistines, and all the Canaanites, and Zidonians, and Hivites that dwell in Mount Lebanon. Why? So we could learn how to war with these bastards. And now these are the nations which the Lord left to prove Israel by them, as many of Israel has not known all the wars of Canaan. So some of you guys don't know how to war, physically or mentally. Well, technically, if you didn't really war physically, more likely you're not going to know mentally.
Africans seem to be the
It's all about 10% mental. I'm sorry, 90% physical. 90% mental, 10% physical. That's what it is. Let's go.
Africans seem to be the primary race that was indigenous to North America.
See, I find it that how at the end of your video, you're suggesting that this idea of Africans being indigenous to the Americas is a cover-up, and we've been taught whitewashed versions of history. Now, there is no cover-up. The indigenous peoples of these lands are not of African descent. And that's been proven through archaeological, anthropological, linguistic, and DNA evidence. I often find when European squatter anchor babies push misinformation about history in this form, it tends to be because they don't want to reconcile with their own history and what their ancestors did to the indigenous people here, and how they went and kidnapped African people and brought African people here because they were lazy and didn't want to do the work because they didn't know how to. You don't want to come to terms and stay in denial about the enslavement, torture, and mass genocide that your ancestors inflicted upon indigenous people here and also African people. So unless you can actually provide some evidence outside of your whitewashed opinion, I suggest not speak on indigenous people's histories or African people's histories, because all you're doing is invalidating the trauma that your ancestors inflicted upon ours. Have a day.
Hey, listen, family, I do want to know this, and I want to make sure, let me share this. I understand why the sister is talking like that, but remember, that's not what I'm insinuating. And our people come in different shades of colors. Y'all know that. That's why I was showing you El Moreno Mexicano. But there's a difference. There is a big difference. So let's not be fooled. Right now is the most important time to learn how to discern, because you're all going to be, you're being bombarded with massive information overload, where things are not, nothing's going to make sense. So now you don't know what to believe. You need now to learn how to discern. I'm telling you, family, you probably don't even know what I mean by that, but this is what's going to be required. So you guys that are still kind of hanging in there, I'll praise it, man. But you brothers that understand what's going on, you know what I'm talking about. This is the time when you got to discern. 100% discern. Because again, it goes back to this. 80%, maybe 90% of the information is false. 10 is true. Now you got to find the right 10. I'll show you a picture that this brother shared, and I'll leave it like that. I'll leave it with that pic. No, I'm not going to leave it with that picture, but did I post it? I'll show it tomorrow. It's all good. It's all good. Let's go.
Okay.
Remember who this message is coming from, all right?
Okay, here's the myth. You're not going to like it, but here's the myth. God is preparing a man for you. Incorrect. Biblically speaking, the Bible says that God created Eve for Adam, not Adam for Eve. I'm going to let you sit on that for a couple seconds. God created Eve for Adam, not Adam for Eve. So the one God is preparing is you. You have to understand that God prepares you as a woman to come into the life of a man, to be a helpmate, to bring value into his life, to be able to allow him and encourage him to do what God has destined for him to do. But as a woman that is unprepared, what happens is instead of allowing the man to do what God has called him to do, you make it all about you. And you want the man to make you his God. It was never planned that way. As a woman, you need to align with your man, and both of you need to serve God, because that is what God ordained, for man and woman to join together and serve God.
Hey, what did the brother say? What did the brother say earlier? Everything's coming back to its order, family. Everything's coming back to its order. Give me a second, bro. I got you. Because look, remember I told you guys about
Creyéndote patriota cuando eres
or Spaniards being dark and all that stuff. Okay, he's gonna share something. Let me see what you got, bro. Yeah, I heard about it. Who's his brother? Because I found somebody that's putting the connections together. Just put his name. Doesn't matter who watches it, bro. You know what I mean? We'll find him. Let's see what you said. Blacks don't know that their time of ruling was over when Adam was created. They will never rule again. They're power hungry, which they will never get again. Well, I agree with some of it, but not all of it. The part about Adam, because I think what you're trying to say is God created all these other people, and that's who they are, and we're not at that. Well, yeah, but then you ignore the flood. So I'm not going to go against the scriptures. Let's continue. But I understand, brother. I'm understanding.
creyéndote patriota.
By the way, I want you guys to write down the names of what he's going to mention, okay? Alexander Petillon. Okay, they want to say, you don't know our people, but what this guy's going to say is, listen, the people that you're talking about, they look a certain way, they didn't give a damn about anybody but themselves. They went on a massacre and killed the so-called mulattoes. Let's go.
Cuando eres un analfabeto que no sabe nada de historia.
Querido ñame, con todo el cariño y respeto que se merecen ustedes los ñames. Primero, nadie tiene odio contra nadie. Segundo, la historia de Haití es una historia triste, la historia de un Estado fallido, que, paradójicamente, en nombre de la libertad y los derechos de las personas, se cometieron ciertos atropellos contra la población dominicana. El señor Toussaint Louverture, digamos que pactó con Estados Unidos que la revolución haitiana no se extendería por el resto de islas para que no afecte a los intereses de los europeos. Luego llega nuestro amigo Jean-Jacques Dessalines, no voy a recordarlo de la matanza de Moca, dejémoslo aquí.
Jacques Dessalines was African phenotype. Okay, let's listen in.
Pero todos sabemos que Pétion y Christophe lo traicionaron, ¿vale? Pétion.
So other black dudes were traitors against him. Now watch what they did.
Una república en un lado y Christophe una monarquía en el otro, ¿vale? Después de esos caballeros llega Faustino I, aquel que se gastó un dineral en su coronación y además
another African
se hartó de construir castillos y gastarse el dinero del pueblo y a todos los sediciosos mulatos los perseguía. Querido amigo, si tienes para rebatir esto y dejar de faltar el respeto a nuestra tierra, querido ñame, adelante. Y si no, tienes el mismo camino. Un fuerte abrazo y hasta luego, crack.
Ma'am, the reason I asked you for your ID is because
came in here and I saw that you guys are speaking Spanish, which is very unheard of up there.
Okay.
Just run your name, date of birth.
We have absence. Just because our profile, right?
No.
Racial profile.
It has nothing to do with that.
No.
It's the fact that it has to do with you guys speaking Spanish in the store.
Spanish in the store.
In a state where it's predominantly English speaking.
Okay. Sounds good.
Can we have your name also?
Yes, sir. It is Agent O'Neill.
So we just come here to the store to buy milk and eggs. And this border patrol, he just asks for ID because we have an accent and we speak Spanish.
So it is illegal to speak Spanish in Montana?
No, ma'am, it's not illegal. It's just very unheard of out there.
Really?
Yes.
So are you new here?
No, ma'am, I've been up here for a while.
Oh, really?
When we ask why we get stopped, and he say because us English is not good, and we want to speak Spanish in Montana in the store. And here they speak only English. And after he stopped us, he called, and another car comes here.
Sad. This is sad. It's happening in Montana, in Hubbard, Montana. Just because you speak Spanish in the store, you are stopped. That is very, very sad. So people from Hubbard don't speak Spanish. I need to come back home. So if you guys want to call somebody to pick us from here or something, because I need to come back home right now. That's it. I am a U.S. citizen and I have my rights. I was born in the United States of America. So please give me my paper back and I'm coming back home. Okay, I need to come back home because my husband is waiting for me. Okay, so the police is coming. You can call them and put us in jail if it's necessary. I need my ID and I need to come back home because I'm American citizen and I have rights. Okay? Yes, I do have rights. She has rights. She was born here too. We are not, just because my husband is American, he don't make me American. I was born here, okay? I have my rights, and I know that. I am waiting for 16, 17 minutes right now, just because I speak Spanish. That's the only thing you have on me.
Is that a Mexican flag in your front yard?
That's the voice of a local IE political activist confronting a woman for flying the Mexican flag in her front yard. The confrontation was shot on a smartphone and posted to YouTube.
You know we live in America, right? Yes. This is the United States. So why are you flying a Mexican flag in your front yard? This is America. Maybe you can move to Mexico if you want to fly your Mexican flag. Does that make sense?
Manifiesto para mis hermanos de todo un continente no bien llamado América. Chiconagui, Cali, Xihui, Tlaxochimaco, Yey, Coat, Ilhui. Totona yo Motlatli, Totona yo Ixpolio, Iwan Santlayoguaya no Techcat, Matic Matica, Mao Sepa Gualas, Matic Matica, Mao Sepa Quisati, Iwan Yancuilloctica Techplahuilito, Otetlacto, Nica Ninanagua, Otetlacto, Ipan Insemanagua, Ingüey Tlactuani, Tlacatecutzintli, Cuauhtemotzi, Achtopa, Tehuantzan, Ticmatisnequi, Tlequictoa, Moyoltzin, Tognititzinguan, Tehuantin Timexica, Noiki, Tlena, Meguantin, Almexica, Totoca, Olimac, Yey, Coat, Chiconagui, Cali, Xihui, Tlaxochimaco, Yey, Coat, Ilhui. Totona yo Motlatli, Totona yo Ixpolio, Iwan Santlayoguaya no Techcat, Matic Matica, Mao Sepa Gualas, Matic Matica, Mao Sepa Quisati, Iguan yancuilloctica techtlahuiliti. Otetlacto, nican inanahuac, otetlacto, ipan insemanahuac, inhuey tlactuani, tlacatecutzintli, cuauhtemotzi. Achtopa, tehuan san ticmatisnequi, tlen quihtoa moyoltzin tocnititzinhuan, tehuantin timexica noitki tlen amehuantin almexica. Totoca, oli mactlaqui iguan yey xochi, los cogelones, tihuitzia motloc, pampa machi texcaquican, achtopa.
No podemos seguir así, aquí en la tierra.
Nuestro pueblo, nuestras familias necesitan otra opción. Necesitan recuperar su raíz, su amor y su camino.
Necesitan recuperarse a sí mismos.
Nosotros, ninguno de nosotros ha rescatado la cultura, costumbres o tradiciones. Todo lo contrario. Estas han regresado la fuerza en nuestros corazones y la belleza en nuestros rostros.
Ahora bien, trabajemos en el bien común. Regresemos con nuestras abuelas y abuelos, con nuestra niñez, con nuestras madres y padres, con nuestra amada juventud.
Mostremos al mundo lo que hemos guardado en nuestro corazón por 500 años.
Salgamos una vez más para organizarnos, para proteger y difundir lo que es de aquí, lo que es de Anáhuac Tihuantincinyu. Podemos hablar de que seguimos vivos y estamos listos para recibir al mundo.
Porque mientras el mundo exista, no acabará la fama y gloria de la gran México Tenochtitlan. ¡Ajo! Exista, no acabará la fama y gloria de la gran México Tenochtitlan. ¡Ajo!
Man, that's amazing right there. And listen, family, let me tell you something that I've learned. Yeah, man, that's fire, bro. Let me tell you something I've learned. I found out who I was first by trying to find out about my people, about my tribe, so-called. That's how I found out about who I was. It wasn't some camp. I started confirming who I was 100% outside these camps. That's what I started confirming. Because as I said before, like as I read it to you before, I'm not going to drop it. This is a beautiful book. This is beautiful. Thank you, sis. I know you didn't mean to send this one, but hey. So the Lord alone, Deuteronomy 32:12. So the Lord alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with him. So if you understand what I'm talking about, you got to, before you are anything else, you got to know what you are. Before you go dream, oh, I'm an Israelite. Why don't you find out about your culture first? About the people down there that are actually, going through it. Why don't you find out about them? Because once I started finding about them, I found more about us. And this history is what will bring us back together. This is the first step. More will come because not only if, I know we are the people of the Most High, but it's just a matter of time where he wipes that dirty spots off your eyes and will open up further understanding. We're built nation builders, family. Ezekiel 35:4. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, because thou hast had perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the times of the calamity, and in the times of their iniquity had no end. Therefore, as I live, say the Lord, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. This said thou has hated blood, or not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Man, that's a beautiful finish, bro. It's a beautiful finish, bro. Check this out. Oh, and by the way, Meshi, I don't know if you realize this, but look what we got here. And Vladimir too. Check it out. Check it out, bro. Check it out. Hold on. I got it right here. It's right here. Man, I had it right here. I showed you guys a picture. Hold on. Here it goes. Check this out, fam. Let's look at this again. Bow! Cody Mayo! Holy moly guacamole!
Wait a minute.
So apparently, Cody Mayo's dad is Italiano, the Colavitos. And this flying saucer of a face, this mixed mamzer of a human individual. Callaway forefather is, I don't know what he is, the Junaluskas. I guess they ate him. Damn, man, you hate yourself so much? See, I know why. Because Canaan made you look like that. Now, you right here, Muhammad, you guys are saying he's your leader. This guy looks like he's Japanese. He looks like, what's his name? Ip Man. Check it out. If you guys never seen Ip Man, and he is he's your leader? And you want to call us mamzers? You call us mamzers, but that guy looks like this guy. Look. They call us mamzers that we're not original people, but that guy looks like that guy. And that guy looks like that guy, but that guy don't look like that guy. White people, Indians, and Highlanders. You got to grab that book. It's going to give you a hint. Admix, Asian, European, Negro extraction? Dude, mamzer, but I know what you are now. You see, I always knew I would find you. Remember, I'm not being led by anything else but this book. Believe me, family. Or if you don't, that's okay. But I know what I'm going through. Anyhow, let me finish it off real quick, fam. 1 Corinthians, what again? 13:12. Yeah, man, that's good. I had read that earlier. And it's going to relate to 13:12. Watch what it says. Oh, no, that's not it. For now we see through dark. Beautiful. For now we see through a glass darkly. For many centuries, we were seeing things darkly. We didn't even know how to read. But now we're starting to see through it. But it's a little dark, right? It's a little dark. It's like, oh, man, what's all this information? But then, face to face, now I know in part. But then shall I know even also as I am. As I am. As we are. As we are. Hey, I told you, bro. I bet you there was people, what? Damn, man, half the people left. Wow, I guess you guys love Curimeo. Well, hey, at least now we know why you do what you do. Remember, family, the two heads, the two horns. So this guy, Culovitos, Curomeo, that's his last name, more likely, was a, guess what? A freaking Jew. I told you. I told you that he was somewhere of he's getting paid. Remember the two eagles, family. And quite frankly, I'm reading Esdras about the 12 kingdoms and the actual eagle. And it's starting to make sense to me now. And it's not what we were told. It is not what we were told. Remember, these will come across as they're men of righteousness to teach us all the right things about the Most High. But scriptures have said there's going to be wicked ass people trying to convince us something else. Matthew 10:26, it says, fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. What I tell you in darkness, that speak ye in light. When he tells you alone, you share that. What ye hear in the ear, that preach ye upon the housetops, man. Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins.
At Vista.
Shalom, hope you guys do well, man. I'll be here tomorrow. Tomorrow is the actual class. All right?
En la Plaza de Reyes.
Clase mental. Let's go, fam. All right.
¿Qué vas a saber tú? Oye, chibolito, faltomé. Pulpín de los pulpines, batería de Rapunzel, de rapeos, de raptos, de lagartos en cuartel. Cualquier la pega de cruel con un viejo coronel. Soy flojo, se me antojó dormirme en el laurel. Elevé mi level con un label y un Faber-Castell. Ya un papel, lo empape con sangre de todo aquel que se jura Nobel y no ve mis trenes en la riel. What's so man? ¿Por qué no sacan la tablet? Juro por mis abuelos que no te hablo por las powers. Soy chinchado neto, búscame por Pico Sour y te voy a meter al centro loco como Beckenbauer. Escúchame atento mi bro, que estamos rompiéndole en pro. El negro de Plaza de Reyes como siempre rompe de este micrófono. Que quiere meterle como yo pero no puede meterle taco pro. Si te pensaba que solo era un gallo, déjame decirle que se equivocó. Real motherfucker feeling on the street. Es el black shit, black sea metal de Plaza de Kings. Motherfucker, so bloom.
Nero Luigi, man, desde Peña, a la victoria para que sepa. Incas Mo, it's money gang, gang, yeah, yeah, Yo también he llorado, gente. También me han desplazado por mi rasgo afrodescendiente. Sí, un perro no habla pero siente. Cuento historias callejeras pa' barrios de delincuentes. Soy un perro que te ladra, que te muerde y que te huele, nene. Soy más que Lenny, ustedes para mí son pelele. Con mi jauría todo el día en busca de los cheles. Tengo un perro en fiscalía que nos mueve los papeles y otro en la comisaría para evitar el susto. Muchas veces me han llevado por solo como luzco. Perdón, madre mía, si yo le causé un disgusto, pero en esta vía yo crecí rodeado de perros chuscos. Yo sé que me quieren ganar, yo sé que me quieren tumbar y no pasará porque soy de verdad. Está súper rafina la Dodo Style, metido en latina aprendiendo un quizá. Yo tengo el style, no mido la raza del perro, yo mido por la lealtad y yo soy leal. La calle te enseña lo que no te enseña la universidad. Saliste ese peña aquí con una seña, te tiran para atrás. La calle limeña aquí nadie la tenía, ya nada es igual. Tiene que respetar, tiene que respetar. La calle te enseña lo que no te enseña la universidad. Saliste ese peña aquí con una seña, te tiran para atrás. La calle limeña aquí nada le doy, ya nada es igual. Tiene que respetar, si yo soy tu papá. Es Incas Mob, negro. Es Incas Mob, nigga. Nero Luigi, man. Incas Mob, it's money gang, gang, gang,
Hey, yo. Yango en la maldita casa. Me llaman pa' que les dé al menos una vez al mes. Se metieron al lago y olvidaron que era el Ness. For everybody bless. La fama es una puta, me está llamando a las 3. Dile que llame después de las 16 y 25. Volví de la infancia de Abraham Lincoln. Con fuerza ya inco, luchando para salir del rincón. Letra callejera en CD brinco. Under del under, puede que tu viejo te lo mande. Sale de vez en cuando como el cóndor por los Andes. Mi cuerpo no es de madera como Dandy. Antes que me branden, yo seré el ola que los expande. Aunque esto me pique en la madera, no sirven ni para romper el ticket de un evento afuera. Loco por la carrera, desafían la gravedad. Yo espero tras la barrera y llego con la novedad. Niña, tú solo espera que ya encontré la manera. He visto bastante por querer lograrlo saltando escalones dentro de la escalera. La vida me puso al depósito, yo soy de púlpito pa' que el mundo conociéramos. De esta parte mejor interprete que ha parido esta cordillera. Sin luz afuera, que el espectáculo es dentro. La calle es mi templo, tiembla el pavimento cuando yo me concentro. Mis disparos son temas, la calle un poema. Se siente desde cuando entro. Y a toditos estos drogaditos que creen que rapean, los regreso al centro de mi balcón. Yo he visto el clon de clon en la misma gestión, pero a la malla no llega el balón. Y para esta pantalla no soy el patrón. Yo ya me sé la cuestión y doy fe por cada renglón. Consciente de la operación del final de Mbappé con la edad de bufón. De Yango en la maldita casa, Plaza de Rey y papá. El Nero Luigi, Black Cimental, hip hop peruano. Rasgo en la maldita base.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. cuerpo se queda con nosotros, pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí iluminamos tu camino. Lucha como nosotros ante esta pena tan grande. Yo soy tú. Tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre, hijo.